I am here with author Kendall D. Gott. Thank you so much, Kendall, for joining us today. He is the author of the newly released book, Gone to Kansas, 1856, Fire and Tribulation. Kendall, I just want to pick your brain today about your book. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it is actually a sequel to a book called Gone to Kansas, 1855. So this is a continuation of a story of a young man who grew up in a dysfunctional and broken family in St. Louis, an over-domineering father, and at the age of 18 moves out to the frontier, and really just to get away from it all and find his own way in the world. He joins up with a freighting company that goes down the Santa Fe Trail and back up. A lot of adventures there. And then he makes his way to Leavenworth, Kansas, and works for another freighting company, and travels around what was in the Kansas Territory, which was a rather lawless place. This is the beginning of what they call Bleeding Kansas, where the political turmoil of deciding whether Kansas was going to come in as a free state or a slave state into the Union. And he has a number of adventures and really grows up very quickly because he had to.
And where did the inspiration behind this book and also the first one come into play?
Well, I retired about 5 years ago, maybe 6 now, and I was a historian for the Army. And when I retired, I still had a lot of stories to tell. And all my life up to this point, I've been doing nonfiction, more of an academic kind of style. And what I wanted to do was something new, and that was to tell history, but through the eyes of a character or protagonist, and see history through his eyes and what it was like to really be there and living it and all the trials and tribulations that go with it. So that was the inspiration for the format, at least, and the way to tell the story, in this case, of the early Kansas territorial days, and to make it interesting, to make it more fun than your traditional academic style of book.
Mm-hmm. And if you were to tell your audience today, one thing in particular about your book, what would that be?
Ooh, well, let's see. What I'd like to tell them is that the history is real in these books. It's not a made-up thing. The historical characters appear and come and go. The history is real, and the story is believable. What the character comes across actually did happen to various people. It just kind of gets condensed into this one character. So it's an interesting read. It's a fun read, and I would say that the age, if you have a teenager that is slightly interested in history, this might pique their interest even further. This is a story about a man coming to age, and if you have a teenage son or a young man in the house, this might prove a little inspiration to them. And if you're even the older ones, people like me, if you're are more into serious history, there's a lot in there for you too. There's techniques and for instance, like going down the Santa Fe Trail, how to hitch a mule team, how to take care of teams, wagons, and hauling freight, things that you normally wouldn't see in detail in a book, a history book. You could find it here.
Very wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Kendall. And once again, for the audience, Gone to Kansas, 1856 is available now. You can find it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. It comes in paperback versions and ebook versions as well. Thank you so much, Kendall, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.